Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new episode of Knowing Wheel, episode 61, I think. Every week I seem to intro these forgetting what podcast number we're on. I really should just double check before we jump into them. But as always, I'm joined by Jamie183. How we doing, mate?
I'm good. My background is slightly less interesting than usual because, I'm moving house imminently, so I look like I'm in a prison cell, but there we go. I promise I'm not.
About halfway through the show, Jamie's actually going to move. We're gonna go with him to his new house. Yeah, I think we did try to work this out pre-show, didn't we? I've only ever been in 2 locations for this podcast. Yeah. At home, and then at a different home. Jamie's been in about 14.
The next podcast next week on Monday when we record it, I think that's my 6th or 7th location. So there we go.
It is a very, very boring way to start the show this week. But yeah, of course, we mentioned a couple of weeks ago we were going to try and change around the format slightly with the way we do the podcast. So apologies if you were expecting a show on Tuesday. To be honest, I think most of you were distracted by the fact that I've been having pretty much sleepless nights trying to get F122 content out there. But yeah, we thought we'd kind of skip Monday because it was going to be there wasn't really a lot of news to talk about between last week and then. And we sort of thought...
someone was busy playing F1 as well.
And someone was busy playing F1 and forgot he had a podcast. But we also then thought we might as well do a sort of Silverstone pre-show. Then, like we said, Monday, hopefully, or should go live Tuesday, we're going to do a Silverstone review. And then we're going to try and do another pre-show ready for Thursday next week, ready for the Austrian Grand Prix as well, of course, because that is a sprint weekend. So, yeah, we kind of had a few different ideas for the way we wanted to do these things. We'll see how it goes over the summer. And then, of course, we've got the summer break coming up fairly soon. So we'll sort of look back then and decide how we're going to go on in the future. Because, of course, back-to-back races can make things a little bit complicated as well there. But, of course, as always, there will be links down below to everything as well. You know, Manscaped, I forgot everything else we do. Bybit. I've forgotten everything this week.
Store, Spotify,
F1 merch store, yep. Spotify,
channels,
that's the big
Twitter.
one. Clips channel, Twitters, everything like that. It's all linked down there. It's a good job James, my PA. My brain's all over the show this week. And of course, timestamps will be linked down below as well, you know, if you'd want to go check out certain points of the podcast. There isn't a huge amount to discuss this week, but we have got a few different and interesting stories, haven't we, Jamie?
Yeah, definitely. And we'll start, I think, with quite old news now, but Pierre Gasly re-signed with AlphaTauri, which was kind of confirmed in the Canadian Grand Prix weekend, but officially came out a couple of days later. He signed for 2023, which kind of puts out any hope that there might have been a driver shake-up this silly season. I don't know about you, but I think a lot of people are kind of waiting for Gasly to see what he did in terms of next year, 2023, and he's staying put, which I think makes sense, but it's not very exciting.
I mean, it's ruined all the clickbait thumbnails we could have done, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not beat around the bush here, Jamie. That's the really disappointing thing.
Yeah, we're going to have to be defeating Mick Schumacher in a Mercedes suit now.
Oh, I don't want to Photoshop that, I don't think. But, yeah, no, I mean, like you said, it has kind of taken the sting out of any F1 silly season because, I mean, we run down the order. Ferrari is confirmed. Red Bull is confirmed. Mercedes is confirmed. McLaren is effectively now confirmed, especially with Zach Brown. It wasn't a story we had mentioned this week, but he's basically said they're happy with Ricciardo for some reason. Aston Martin is confirmed. AlphaTauri is effectively confirmed because they've come out and said Tsunoda's done really well so far this year. Williams were basically praying Oscar Piastri gets the gig. Alpine is confirmed. Yeah. That's basically confirmed. Alpine are keeping their lineup again. It basically just leaves Alfa Romeo and Haas.
And yeah,
it's so dead.
Alpha, you assume at least. I think I'm obviously biased.
It's
but
highly
I think
likely.
Joe has been good enough to warrant a second season.
Yeah, either Joe will get egged out and they'll put Porcher in the car, but either way, it's between 2 drivers, and I think it's a similar story down at Haas, isn't it? Either Mick Schumacher's going to get egged out, or
someone
we're going to see no change there either. Yeah, but I don't really know who, unless it was like a Drogovic, for example, if he's still got some money. Yeah, I'll have to wait and see about that one. So I guess I can Photoshop Drogovic onto the Haas suit, and that'll have to do
those
for a
Brazilian
thumbnail.
views.
Oh, I love the Brazilian views. I mean, speaking of Brazil, does that immediately lead us into our second story of the week? That is a segue and a half.
It does, but I'm going to unsegue it in a second. So go on with your story.
No, unsegue it first. Go on. We'll unsegue so we can segue.
So, yeah, I want to introduce and let us know what you think. Obviously, me and Matt both know wheel. I wanted to introduce a little bit of like trivia to the show, so I'm sure you can play along watching. But Matt doesn't know what I've got planned. But
I've got no idea. I didn't even know Jamie was going to do this.
I was linking it to that piece of news we've just gone over of Gasly staying with AlphaTauri. Of course, he made his debut with them when they were Toro Rosso. Toro Rosso, in their whole time of history as Toro Rosso, had 15 Formula One drivers. And I'm going to give Matt a minute to try and name all 15 of them.
Can I have 90 seconds? I mean, I'm already making excuses before we even do this.
You can have 90 seconds. I don't have the
I've got to try and name.
Good idea.
Please get a list up before we get a list on a Word document so you can remove them as I go. Otherwise, I'm going to be very upset. Plus, it's giving me time to think of them.
Oh, no, yeah. You're going to have a minute since I'm messing this up.
Okay, that's fine. I only have a minute. Because I think I can get all of them. Or at least I'll be incredibly close to getting all of them, I reckon.
I'll just count. Okay. Yeah. All right, are you ready to go?
Give me a countdown then. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
I'm going to keep it on my phone. I'll hold my phone up to the screen with the timer. Hopefully I don't get any phone calls during this, but okay. All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Tsunoda, Gasly, Brendan Hartley, Danny Kvyat, Daniel Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel, Jaime Alguersuari. I really should have done this in a better order. Yeah. Scott Speed. You also had Sebastian Bourdais.
That's 9.
That's 9 already. I'm pretty happy with that. I've rattled off 9 pretty quickly. Trying to think of other Red Bull drivers. Christian Klein? No, I don't think he ever raced for them, did he? He was just at Red Bull. Viantonio Luizzi. He's another one.
That's 10.
That's 10. Trying to think anyone else. John-Eric Verne, Sebastian Buemi. No, just Verne. Yeah, Verne did get a gig, sorry. Sebastian Buemi.
That's 12.
Got 3 more to go. How much time have I got left?
You've got 10 seconds.
Oh, come on. I can think of one more.
You're missing.
No, I can't.
You're going to kick yourself.
Oh, I'm missing such an obvious one, aren't I?
You're missing 3 obvious ones. The only ones you need. All right, that's it. You're out.
Oh, okay. Who did I forget?
What if we said the name Max Verstappen to you?
Sainz. No.
and Sainz.
Yep, and Sainz.
And Alex Albon.
Oh, that is just so
3 drivers
annoying.
who are on the grid, but you got Luizzi and Speed, so it's okay.
I got Luizzi, Speed, and Sebastian Bourdais, but not Verstappen, Sainz, and Albon. I knew as soon as I started going in a random order, I was just going to forget that weird sort of middle group. Oh,
there you go.
Me.
Hope you enjoyed that. Matt failed.
Just me embarrassing myself.
Next week he's going to prepare something for me, hopefully. But there we go.
I'm going to have to try and think of something for next week then. But the thing is, Jamie knows wheel in like a weird anal kind of way, so I'm going to have to come up with some really obscure
some ridiculous
for
questions.
Next week. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Drivers. Okay, let's move on.
Let us know how you did in the
comments.
I
can't believe I forgot that. Yeah, let us know how you got on. I cannot believe I forgot those 3.
And also, you said Tsunoda. He never raced for Toro Rosso, but there you go.
Oh, and I said... Oh, no, Gasly did, didn't he?
Gasly did.
Oh, we only talked... Yeah, I suppose.
I don't think you got... Did you get Kvyat?
Yeah, I did get Kvyat.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Because I said Ricciardo and Kvyat in one. Yeah. Oh, that is incredibly frustrating now. But to be fair, I'll take it. I mean, neither Sainz or Verstappen stayed there very long. And to be fair, actually, Albon didn't stay there for even less time.
Yeah,
so we move. Let's re-segue back then, Jamie. Actually, we can do a different segue. Speaking of drivers that could have been at AlphaTauri next year, Juri Vips has been binned off. And I suppose we can probably wrap these 2 stories up together, shouldn't we? Juri Vips and Nelson Piquet have both been in the news for the wrong reasons over the last 2 weeks, for both being utter clowns and some of the biggest morons in the world over the last week.
Yeah, and it's very weird. I mean, they're both there. I mean, I'm sure you've seen. If not, then both of them on separate occasions have used a very strong derogatory term. What Juri Vips was just on a stream. Nelson Piquet said it about Lewis Hamilton, which is obviously, terrible.
Not good. Either way, not good. When you sort of think, Juri Vips is young enough that he should have always been brought up with it being an issue, especially if you're trying to get to Formula 1. And by no way means am I trying to say because Piquet's older he can get away with it. But still, he was from a generation where, of course, it wasn't so socially accepted to be of mixed race or of a different colour. But obviously, again, we won't repeat the words that we used because, as Nelson Piquet probably should have understood, and Juri Vips for that matter, we're white, and it's not a word we should use.
Not at all. So, initially Red Bull suspended Vips, and now he's been sacked effectively from the whole Red Bull Academy, which I think is probably, it's definitely fair enough.
Oh, it had to be done. It had to be done.
Yeah, they weren't going to get away with doing anything else, really, and it's fully deserved. So, we haven't heard news if that means his F2 seat is also in jeopardy. But it may come out.
He's down at high tech, isn't he?
Yeah, he's at high tech, but he is basically backed by Red Bull, which pay for the seat.
Yes, yeah.
Or he was anyway before.
I think high tech are probably going to see him through this weekend and bin him off ready for Austria, I'd imagine. Yeah,
potentially. Although, if there's drivers asking about it, it's not the best look if you've been dropped from a program to then carry on racing. For high tech, it's not a good look, I don't think. But I think maybe a bit late to replace him for here.
Yeah, I think the only thing I can think of for high tech is, of course, they at least want to field 2 cars this weekend, and I'm sort of thinking, Austria next weekend, Red Bull's home track. Maybe they can try and push someone up into the seat ready for there, and it kind of be try and. I mean, this whole situation is obviously incredibly negative, but try and sort of give at least like an F3 star some positives ready for next weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's just such a shame, isn't it? Formula 1 have obviously come out with a statement after both incidents. It kind of, again, to be honest, has felt like a bit of an empty statement from Formula 1. Hamilton, Mercedes, Ferrari, Aston Martin, they've all come out with their own separate statements, which felt a little bit more heartfelt. But I think the problem is when the FOM do this sort of thing, is it's kind of very much a, look, we race as one, and then still these actions are still going on and not being stamped out the way they should be.
And they'll basically go unpunished by the FIA. Obviously Vips has had to pay for what he said.
Vips has been sacked, which is completely fair.
But that was
but
by
obviously
Red Bull,
Piquet,
you can't really do much when they don't really... they're just a character now. They have no affiliation with anyone.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think... obviously, the Nelson Piquet one is obviously in even more of a horrible situation in obviously separate context, because not only was he just referring to Lewis Hamilton in the sense, I think it was on a Brazilian news show, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
I think it was CNN Brazil or something from what I gathered. But of course, he's got ties with Max Verstappen, of course, everything that happened between Hamilton and Verstappen last year. Jos Verstappen made some very negative comments in Hamilton's direction last year as well. It's just, it just makes your skin crawl, doesn't it, when you think about it?
It's horrible.
It's a very, very horrible environment to be around. And again, Jamie and I both completely stand up against racism. Just not what we want to talk about on the podcast, but it was relevant news that needs to be discussed. Unfortunately, it's a sad reality that we still live in a world where these things have to be discussed because people keep doing them. But goodbye Juri Vips, and I hope we never hear anything about Nelson Piquet again. Brazil's worst Formula 1 world champion. Anyway. Yeah.
There we go. Shall we move on to more cheery news?
Let's bring on some positives, Jamie, after that little rant.
And as positives, if you're a Mercedes fan, because
which I am.
they have a fairly decent upgrade for this race, from what I've heard. Toto Wolff said that they aim to win it, but obviously that's just out of context because they aim to win every race. I don't think he actually thinks they will win it. But you never know. Hamilton's obviously won. He's won 8 times at Silverstone. So
yes,
it could be. Mercedes upgrades. I think they had a pretty decent one in Spain, and the car pace was a bit closer to the top 2 teams. And then
it was pretty competitive in Spain, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then it kind of hasn't really seen it through. But obviously Silverstone's a very smooth track, very high speed corners, so it should suit the Mercedes quite well in terms of the issues they've been having won't be as obvious, I don't think. So yeah, could see some British drivers on the podium if you're lucky at the British Grand Prix, which would be nice.
I mean, if there's ever a race you wanted to turn around.
Yeah, exactly. Probably the best opportunity for that. A more positive news, although kind of like a backhanded negative, because the wind tunnel testing time, which I'm sure we went over a bit in pre-season, but the time you're allowed in the wind tunnel is determined by championship constructors' position now. Basically they determine it by previous seasons up until 6 months into the new season. So that time is going to reset on the 30th of June, which is the day this podcast is going out. So it means that Mercedes, obviously the previous one, they won the constructors, so they had the least time. Now they've got the third least time, which basically means they've got more time in the wind tunnel compared to Red Bull and Ferrari. So yeah, the rest of the season until December 31st, I'd guess, they're going to be getting a bit more wind tunnel time, which can only help them as well. So maybe we'll see a 6-car fight for the win. Although I don't think the wind tunnel time will affect Silverstone that much.
No, that being said, but even if we get sort of later on in the year, isn't it? I think this is kind of what we've discussed before. I think Mercedes are hoping by the end of the year they're going to be right there again. I still, there's a big part of me that wants to believe Hamilton's at least win one race a year streak isn't going to come to an end just yet.
Yeah. And to be fair, I would absolutely love it if 2023 gave us Verstappen versus Hamilton Part 2. As awful
with
as
a bit of
be.
Charles Leclerc mixed in.
Yeah, it would be amazing. But we'll have to wait and see about that.
Yeah, because I mean, Mercedes of course sort of mentioned a couple of times now, haven't they, about talking about longer term with Hamilton again. I'm still a believer at the moment 2023 will be his last year in the sport. Well. But I think, if we got a Hamilton-Verstappen title showdown round 2, then things could get very, very interesting. Obviously, depending on how that goes, I think, let's say by the end of this year, Mercedes has got a car that can fight for wins again. Hamilton and Verstappen have a brilliant battle next year. Hopefully, there's no human error world champion. Sorry, I had to get that in there. And let's go down both hypothetical routes. Then Hamilton wins it. I think then, he's done everything he can. He's got one more world title after that. That'll be it. He's done. I think if Hamilton then just missed out, we might see him stick around for one more year, depending on how he missed out on it. But there's a lot of hypotheticals there, isn't there, at the moment?
Yeah. But it's nice to, even I've kind of missed having Mercedes at the front. As funny as it is seeing them struggle,
it's been interesting, hasn't it, this year?
Yeah,
been very, very interesting. I mean, to be honest,
for me at least, it kind of is a shame because Ferrari is so incompetent that Red Bull have kind of run away with it, whereas Mercedes are actually a serious team just with a bad car. So it's a bit more of a fight.
I mean, to be honest, if Mercedes do pick up the pace, they could still easily oust Ferrari for P2 in the Constructors, because they're not far away still, are they, at the moment? Let me have a look quick. I can't remember exactly
how tragic Ferrari have been since the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, so, Mercedes are only 40 points behind Ferrari. And
that's
for
one
context,
race weekend.
Ferrari are 76 behind Red Bull.
That's insane. Yeah.
So let's not say Mercedes P2 is definitely over just yet. So we'll have to wait and see about that in the second half of the year there. But I still think, with the extra wind tunnel time, Mercedes' focus is probably going to be on trying to get next year's car ready, aren't they?
They're not going to win the drivers this year, so they might as well.
No, exactly. Speaking of upgrades, though, Jamie, another team with a lot of British backing, Williams reckon they've got some upgrades that around the right track could be worth a second a lap in qualifying, which, if that's true, would be mind-blowing.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have a source for this other than Lawrence Barretto tweeted one thing with no article or anything this morning. But they've definitely got upgrades. And yeah, I mean, I guess it's people in the team think it's worth a second around certain tracks. I doubt it personally, because that would be an insane upgrade package. And with how close, even though Williams are at the back, with how close the midfield is, that would jump them basically to the top of the midfield if they could find a second on a quali lap.
But it's only over qualifying, and normally they've been quite far away on one lap pace.
Yeah, and then okay in the race, to be fair. So if they can even catch up the likes of Aston and McLaren, that'd be pretty decent for them. If they can, I mean, they're what? I think they're last in the championship, aren't they? In
Yes,
constructors.
yeah.
So
yeah,
you never know.
margin now as Aston Martin have been on a tear.
Yeah, they have actually. So maybe Alex Albon pole position. You heard it here first. It might rain on Saturday as well, so you never know.
If that's going to be your prediction, I'm looking that in as your
I'm
prediction.
I'm
for
not.
This weekend.
Cancel that one.
You've said it now. You've said it now. Jamie's put Alex Albon for pole at the British Grand Prix. Yeah, I mean, like we said though, Williams this year have struggled on one lap pace. It's been a bit odd, hasn't it? Because again, race pace, they've more often than not been there or thereabouts. There certainly hasn't been, like a 2013 Lotus where they got no qualifying pace and then loads of race pace or something like that.
Oh no, you mean Lotus?
Caterham? Yeah,
I thought you were like,
didn't mean...
yeah. Well, yeah.
I don't know where you thought I was going there, Jamie, but it definitely
I thought you were saying it's
not
like Caterham when they were awful, because Williams are good in the races.
No, exactly. But yeah, I mean, even if it's half a second in qualifying trim, it gives them a fighting chance, doesn't it? Whether just the sim date is optimistic, but they're going to be close. I mean, it'll make it fun again. At the moment, we've kind of slipped into a routine, haven't we? Of it's always Latifi going out in Q1, and then more often than not, Albon, at least one Aston Martin, and then probably an AlphaTauri, isn't it? Going out most weeks there with one surprise somewhere else. But, if Williams are right there or thereabouts, I mean, it'd still be Latifi qualifying last, to be honest. But, if there's a lot more unpredictability ahead of him, then at least, I mean, it makes it more interesting. And I know I've said it so much this year already. 2022, the midfield battle has been straight fire.
It has, yeah. From fourth down, basically, they could all be topping the midfield at certain occasions. Maybe other than Williams and Aston, but certainly the other 5
I mean, even
teams,
then, Vettel,
14.
6th at Baku.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it has been absolutely mad. Mad to watch.
Yes.
And it's going to be very interesting in the second half of the season to see who comes out on top in that 4th place fight, because like Alfa Romeo, Alpine and McLaren are all really closely matched on points. And arguably McLaren have the slowest car at the minute out of those 3 teams. And they're
Lando
they're 4th.
is just better than the rest of them.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Anyway then, shall we move, Jamie, into the British Grand Prix? Last year was a pretty unremarkable race, wasn't it, if I remember correctly? Yeah.
I was there.
Of course, we had a sprint race last year. Yeah, Jamie was there, weren't you? Tell me about trackside. What did you see?
I saw Guan Yu Zhou win a feeture race in F2.
I knew you were going to bring that up. You also saw him stall in the sprint, though, didn't you? Which you knew I was going to bring up.
Yeah, I did know you were going to bring that up. No, it was a very, very good experience. It was also before COVID lockdown had ended in the UK. But when you're at Silverstone, it was effectively a test event, so they basically were no restrictions, which was amazing. Yeah, it was a great time until halfway around lap 1 of the sprint of the proper race. Yeah, obviously Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, probably the most dramatic moment of the year happened there. Maybe other than the final lap in Abu Dhabi, I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, but I was going to say most controversial. It probably isn't even that either.
No, that's definitely Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, it was a very good race, and I'm sure whoever's going is going to enjoy it this year as well. Unfortunately, I am not, but there we go.
I am, though.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, I'm going to be at Silverstone this weekend, so, if you're watching the podcast and you're going to be down there, I've been mentioning it in other videos. If you see this mug, please don't feel afraid to say hello. I do want to speak to you guys, everything like that. So yeah, let's wave hello to me. Shout my name, throw something at me if it comes to it, to try and get my attention. Go for it. That's my permission now. If I come back next week and I've been bottled at the British Grand Prix, we'll all know why. It was my own stupid fault. Yeah, please don't deck me if you see me at Silverstone. That's off the table still.
I want to give a suggestion to people because I've just remembered something else that happened last year.
Right.
It's actually my final video on my channel. Maybe not ever, probably ever.
I thought you were going to say the podcast then. I was like, it's Jamie announcing his retirement.
No more podcasts. No, I got to do a lap around the track on Thursday. In an Alpine A110.
Nope, not.
I don't know.
No, it is. No, it is the new A110. Sorry,
yeah.
Me.
I think it was. But I got that by winning a fan zone quiz because we were right at the front of the gates on Thursday and got into the fan zone basically before anyone else. So get there early on Thursday, go right to the fan zone stage, and they'll have a quiz immediately. Try and win it, and you'll get to go around in a supercar. It's pretty sick.
I wouldn't quite call an Alpine A110 a supercar.
No, but the rest of them were, but I didn't go in any.
The rest of them were, but you went in an Alpine for some reason.
There was like a 720S. There was a Mercedes something. There was a Ferrari. I can't remember what Ferrari it was. There was an Aston Martin. Yeah, and I got to go in an Alpine.
You can tell Jamie is a Formula 1 fan, not a car fan, can't you?
Yeah, I know.
There was a Ferrari. It was red.
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, there we go. That's Jamie's top tip ready for the British Grand Prix. I've never actually been to Silverstone, though. So I'm very much... sorry, I've never been to the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, I should say. I've been to the track before for a couple of other races. For me, I've been obviously to a few different venues before, but yeah, never been to Silverstone, so very much looking forward to it this weekend. I got paddock passes as well. I am so hyped.
I'm so jealous
for
of
this weekend. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and honestly, I can't hide it at the moment. So again, big ups to Bybit, channel sponsor, for hooking me up with that one. But yeah, fingers crossed there for Bybit, Red Bull's big sponsor, that we don't see Max Verstappen have the same fate he did last year. Because that's probably going to be
especially
a very
as you'll be cheering and
you'll
you'll be sacked from Bybit.
I won't. I've definitely got to be careful though. If this is the weekend where Mercedes come back strong, I'm definitely gonna have to be careful there. As someone's gonna clip this and tweet at Christian Horner.
Yeah, and Matt sacked.
Please don't. But yeah, really, really looking forward to it. Like I said, first British Grand Prix. If you see me, do please say hello. Second race of the year for me. I've never been to 2 Grand Prix in a year before.
Wow.
I'm hoping it's drier than Imola, because that was quite a cold and dark weekend.
Definitely got better facilities than Imola, so you should be okay.
Yes, yeah, and of course I'm hoping. Well, Hamilton mainly has a better weekend than he did at Imola.
Yeah.
I really did go and see him at his absolute lowest of lows so far this year. But yeah, Silverstone though, gonna be interesting. No sprint race this year, of course, like we mentioned, that's gonna be the weekend after at the Austrian Grand Prix. Do we jump into predictions then, Jamie?
I reckon so. Yeah.
Is it your turn to go first again?
You can keep going first until you overtake me. We didn't update the scores.
Okay.
Maybe we did.
I thought I told you to update the scores.
I can't because it's your message in Discord. So I know you closed in on me 1.
I closed in on you 1. How many did we each score last week?
I think I got 4 and you got... I got 3 and you got 5 or something like that. Oh no, I got 3 and you got 4.
If I closed in on you by 1, that definitely didn't happen.
But either way, the gap is 12 points in my favour.
Yes. Is it? Hey? Oh god, I forgot. How do I cancel?
It was 22-35.
Oh, I put you at like 32.
Wow,
so I'm
taking
on
points
26. You're on 38. There we go. You got 38 in a hashtag. I don't know why.
Alright, great. I'll take that.
So yeah, 12 points the gap as we head in towards this weekend. Jamie has predicted Alex Albon on the pole. Don't forget he said that a minute ago.
I actually don't know. It's really hard to call. Do I buy into the Mercedes hype or not?
I am going to say, Jamie, Verstappen pole, Verstappen race victory. Oh my god, I really wanted to be a moron then and say Hamilton, Russell, second and third, but I can't do it to myself.
I'm tempted.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you say it, it'll happen, so please do. Verstappen pole, Verstappen win. Let's go Leclerc P2 and Hamilton P3.
Nice.
I am
going to go Leclerc pole.
Okay.
I'll go Leclerc win.
Okay. Ferrari back
before.
On top.
I'll go Verstappen P2.
Okay.
And Hamilton P3.
So really what's going to separate us this week is who comes 1-2 and who gets pole.
I really wanted to put in Fernando Alonso P3, but no.
Oh, you'd be mad and stupid.
Yeah, watch it happen now. I'm fuming.
If Alonso gets P3 this weekend, I will eat a shoe on next week's show.
Oh, watch that. Someone clip that.
Someone make sure you clip that down below. Anything else to add though, Jamie? Like we said, a preview show was always going to be sort of a quicker skim through all the news of the week. Have we got anything more?
I'm just going to check if anything's broken on Twitter.
F2 and F3 back once again, which should be good fun. Looking forward to that. W Series as well, back at Silverstone. So plenty of racing action, of course, over the weekend. Any news broken on Twitter?
No, nothing's come up.
No, okay. We should be good this week then. Well, there we go. Thank you all so much for watching this week's episode of the podcast. I just quickly want to say as well, a massive thank you to all of you guys for 60,000 subscribers. You know, been absolutely smashing it over the last few weeks. 100k the goal by the end of the year, so you could help me get one step closer. It would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Like I said, if you're at Silverstone, please don't be afraid to say hello to me as well. And yeah, we will return then with a bit of luck on Tuesday, ready to review the British Grand Prix. Hopefully I'll have a couple of fun stories for you guys as well. And yeah, thank you very much, Jamie, as always, for joining me. And we'll be back. I got to try and think of a general knowledge trivia question for you.
While you're at Silverstone.
While I'm at Silverstone. But yeah, we shall return then, hopefully Tuesday, ready to look back over the British Grand Prix weekend.